Thank you for joining the Washtenaw County Road Commission's virtual construction information meeting about the Roundabout project at the intersection of Martz and Whittaker Road in Ypsilanti Township. My name is Tiffany Oliphant. I'm WCRC's Communications Manager, and I'll be your meeting host today along with our project managers. This morning, I'll go over the meeting instructions before turning it over to staff for a presentation about the project, and then we'll open the meeting up for your questions. Joining me in today's presentation is Project Manager Becky Huell and Senior Project Manager Michelle Ford. The meeting audio and video is being recorded and will be posted to the project page at wcroads.org. After the presentation, you will be asked to virtually raise your hand during the Q&A, and I will provide instructions at the time on how to do this from either your computer, the Zoom app, or your phone. The chat feature in this meeting is turned on, and if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to ask it in the chat, and we'll address it during the Q&A period. You can find the chat window at the bottom of your screen. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Becky.
Thank you, Tiffany, and welcome everybody to the Martz and Whittaker Roundabout meeting. I guess next slide, just get it started. This here is the map of the area, and you can see where the little roundabout symbol is. That is the Whittaker and Martz intersection where this roundabout is going to be installed. Next. It's currently two-way stop controlled, shown as in this picture here, where Martz Road and Shire Lane both have to stop for Whittaker. Next slide. So we have been monitoring this intersection since 2016, and it met warrants for a traffic signal. And it was also identified on a local safety initiative review by MDOT in 2022. So we explored our different funding options, and we applied for and were awarded a federal carbon reduction grant to install a roundabout at this intersection. So the funding comes from that carbon reduction program and also the Michigan Transportation Funds, and we estimated the construction to be about $1.3 million. This here is just an overview of what the roundabout is going to look like. I'm going to explain it in a little bit more detail later, but you can see the splitter islands, and the path there on the west side is adjusted a little bit. But again, I'll go through that a little bit later in this presentation. So I'm sure most of you should be aware how a roundabout works. There's a lot in the area. As you're approaching the center, all roundabouts must yield, all entering traffic needs to yield to the drivers already in the circle. Everybody goes at a counterclockwise movement, and the islands will help control the speed. Our schedule it did go to the February 6th MDOT bid letting. The as read low bid was $1.3 million, which was right where we thought it was going to be. And MDOT did award the contract to Fonson Company. There are some tree removals that are going to need to be removed prior to April 14th. MDOT dictates when trees can be cut on their projects, and April 14th is the date. So you will see the tree removals prior to the intersection being closed, probably. We're not quite sure when the contractor is going to be closing the intersection, but it will be sometime this spring. Once it's closed, it'll stay closed for approximately 10 weeks. And then that is, of course, all dependent on the weather. These next couple slides are just some pictures showing you what to expect during construction. The first step is we're going to remove all the existing pavement that's out there. So it's just going to be a bunch of dirt. Next. Then we're going to build up the base for the new road with the stone. So it'll look like this. And then we're going to grade it out, look all nice, so we can do the next step, which is prepare for the curb and the splitter islands and that center island, and then there's also going to be curve around the outside edge of the road. So you'll see forms similar to this in the picture that will go up. And then the next step is we will install the curb in the splitter islands. So it'll look similar to these pictures here. And then at the same time, we'll be putting in that central island. It'll be similar to this one here. And the next picture, or next slide. So after all the concrete has cured, then we place the asphalt pavement. Next slide. And then we're going to install the pavement markings, which will include a yield sign shown here prior to being placed. There's also going to be the arrows in the center of the island that you can see in this picture here. We're going to install the signs, and the signs are going to look a little bit different than this picture in the center. The Michigan Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices recently updated their details for roundabout signage. So instead of the black and white arrows that you see in this picture, it's going to be a one-way sign that I'm sure you've seen at other roads, where it's just like the one right arrow and it says one way. So that is the new standard sign that's supposed to go in roundabouts. So I just wanted to let you know this new one is going to look a little bit different than the ones that are currently installed. Next, and then there's going to be a pedestrian crossing that we're going to place signs and markings on that cross Shire Lane where the path currently crosses. It'll just be more visible now. And then we're also going to be installing street lighting as part of this project, where you can kind of see in this picture, the street lights will be in generally the same type of location. So here's that overview of the project again. You can see the deflection in the splitter islands. It's supposed to help slow traffic coming through the intersection. And the path on the west side, you can see that the path, we had to move it slightly west a little bit to add in that small little splitter island. I also want to mention about the streetlights that they will be dark sky compliant. So any residents in the area, you don't need to worry about the lights shining in your windows. Here is a close-up of the intersection, so you can get a better idea, see where the path, how it is shifting to the west a little bit. You can see the pavement markings, how they're going to be laid out, and there's just, I mean, it's a standard roundabout. There's nothing really special about this one. The road will be closed during construction, so make sure that you do not drive through the construction. There are 3 driveways that are in the influence of construction, 2 residents on Shire Lane, and then 1 field drive on Martz Road. Those people will have access to their driveways, but you're not going to be able to drive through the intersection. In order to get to your driveway, you're going to have to follow different ways and get there from the other side. And like I said, there is a detour. The residents in the neighborhood to the west will need to use Trotters Park Street to get to their houses. This here is the detour. You'll see we're using Bemis, Hitchingham, Textile, and Tuttle Hill. Once again, do not drive through the intersection when it's closed. It will be closed to all traffic. I guess that's about it. Some common questions that we have gotten that I did not explain before, that once the roundabout is built, The farm vehicles will be able to traverse around the roundabout. It's going to be similar to all the other roundabouts along Whittaker Road. So there shouldn't be any concern as far as the bigger vehicles making it around the circle. And that is about all I have. Tiffany, do you want to let them know about the project page and all that good stuff?
Yes, Becky. I will now go out of the presentation and show you where to go to our roadwork and construction page. 1 second, bear with me. So here on the screen, you'll see you go to WCRoads.org. This is our home page right now. You'll go to roadwork and construction, the current projects page. Here we're on 2026 projects. You scroll down. This is an interactive map. You can see all the projects. You can click on the project and see what projects are happening. Oh, it's not allowing me, but this is an interactive map, just so you know. But long story short, you can scroll down and you can find Martz and Whittaker Road, the tile there. And then this will take you to the project page. So this is everything about this project that you'll find out. This was the construction virtual public meeting, Becky's information. We've had a design public meeting, and public meeting slides. And this presentation will also be over here once we are done, and I can edit the video together. Some information, the detour is here. And we'll also provide updates here, project announcement. So as the project moves forward into construction, we'll post these here. We also advise everyone on here, if you have not, to subscribe to our project updates. Put your email address in, your name, your zip code, click your township. These are all clickable. If you want more than one, you can click as many as you want. And then you come down and you can get our closures and our lane restrictions. We send those out all the time. The weekly roadwork schedule, we're sending that out. We're always out working. We send that out every Thursday. You'll want to get that information. And then you can click on projects that you may want information about, i.e., the Martz Whittaker Road. That's what we're doing here. If you haven't done that, you can click on others. Like I said, you can click on multiple if you would like, and then you hit subscribe, and then you are subscribed to our emails. So we send those out all the time, especially when there's an update. Also, our weekly roadwork schedule, just kind of going over a little bit. Our weekly roadwork schedule can be found also under the roadwork and construction. This lets you know where we are for the week. This has been for the March 2nd through Sunday, March 8th, and we're about to post our for the following week. So we always post on Thursdays. Also, we have a township page, and that also is updated with all the information via your township. You just click on your township that you're interested in, and that will be information regarding your township, anything you're interested in, as far as how projects that are going on in your township. And so now I'm going to come out of the website, go back into the presentation. Bear with me. And we're going to open it up for the Q&A. Okay, so if you're viewing the meeting on your computer, first make sure to click and join audio. You can then raise your hand by clicking the participants button and reactions button at the bottom of your screen, and then raise your hand button. If you dialed into the meeting from your phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. As the meeting host, I will unmute the participants with raised hands one at a time. I will announce your username or the last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your turn to speak. We are happy to answer as many questions as possible, but please be respectful of each other's time. If your question is answered before you're called upon, you can lower your hand by clicking the lower hand button or dialing *9. I'm also still letting people in. 1 second, and we'll begin the process. So Becky, I have a question here. Do you have a start date for the closure?
Not yet. We have a meeting with the contractor in the next couple weeks where we'll be able to figure out what their schedule is going to be. Once we know a schedule, we will be posting it onto that project page just to give everybody as much notice as possible. The project will be complete by mid-July though, so it'll likely start sometime in April, early May.
Okay. So that was Karen. She wanted to know what date will the intersection be closed to traffic. She messaged there. In terms of size, is this going to be smaller than the Whittaker and Merritt? As a resident of the Whittaker Village, is there a plan to address the high volume of speeding traffic in between Merritt and Martz on Whittaker Road? That stretch is notorious for speeding cars and motorcycles. If anything, this has increased since the traffic circle was installed at Merritt. So if you want to address the smaller size first from Whittaker and Merritt first.
Yeah, so this will be similar to the Whittaker and Bemis size-wise.
Okay. And then he also said about the speeding in the area. He says to address the high volume of speeding traffic in between Merritt and Martz on Whittaker.
Uh, this by installing this roundabout, it should naturally slow down some of those people because you're gonna have to slow down again to get into this roundabout. So you're not going to be able to pick up as much speed just to like go right through the Martz Road intersection. So it should help with that traffic.
Okay.
And Becky, if I could jump in here real quick, I'm Michelle Ford. And we were aware of the speeding that's out there. And so one of the things that we add in, as Becky had said, those splitter islands have some deflection in them. And those are put into with the geometry of those to hopefully slow that traffic down a little bit. And you'll see on this particular rendering that's on the screen right now that center island is fairly large. So they're going to have to make that curve to go around. So it should slow the traffic down. And as Becky said, because there isn't that much space between these two roundabouts, that they're finding in studies in other areas that when you have these series of roundabouts, it does tend to slow the speeds between the two roundabouts. So we're hopeful that that will happen with this one, but if nothing else, through this intersection, they should be slowed down.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. I have a few questions now. I'm going to ask to unmute Samsung. I'm Samsung SMF7. 1 second. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Go ahead.
I unmuted.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
I don't have a problem really with the roundabout. That looks okay, but I'm worried about the detours and all the extra traffic that's going to be on the dirt part of Merritt between Whittaker and Tuttle Hill.
Yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on that, and our area foreman is also aware of this project, so we'll address issues as they come regarding that. But since Merritt Road is a public road, we can't close it or whatever. All we can do is post our recommended detour and address any concerns that happen as they happen down Merritt.
So where's the recommended detour going to be? Textile?
Yeah, it's going to be Bemis to Hitchingham to Textile to Tuttle Hill.
That's what I figured. I know there's going to be a lot of problems on the dirt part of Merritt because it can't handle the traffic that's on it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually expected with some of these projects. People do tend to find their own routes, but we will keep an eye on it.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Mandy to unmute. Go ahead, Mandy.
So I just wanted to ask, as a resident of Whittaker Village, our driveway on Trotters Park is going to be the last area before this closure. I don't know where the official closure is going to go up, but if we could get a sign put at that entrance that there is no outlet. The only other outlet is the street that's going to be closed. I know this happened when we shut down Whittaker at Bemis 2 summers ago, where we had a lot of extra traffic coming through, trying to get through around it, and we have no outlet. We're one street in, one street out, that's it.
Okay, I will look into that.
And I didn't realize this is gonna be shut down before schools are out for the summer?
Yes.
Okay, because that's a big area of traffic with the buses and everything. So usually they shut these down during the summer after school's out.
Yeah, we have, there's a lot of different projects in the area, so trying to get them all done while school was out was just not possible. So
Okay.
unfortunately, it just worked out this way.
Okay, so we're expected sometime in April for the road to close.
Probably, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And Mandy, I just want to let you know that the schools are aware. We make sure that the school, police, and fire and everyone is aware of that. Just an FYI for the on the record here. Okay.
Thank-
1 second. We're going to ask Fred to unmute. Go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
You say this roundabout is smaller than the one on Merritt, and it's the same size as the one on Bemis?
Yes, it'll be similar to the Bemis Road one.
Well, on Bemis Road, you have vehicles coming in straight 90 degrees. This one that looks like the one coming off of Martz Road is going to be a little bit further south of straight east. And there are a fair number of trucks that come down Martz Road because, number one, it's an ag area to the southeast of there. And for a truck to make that roundabout and go south on Whittaker, that's going to be a challenge from what I've seen of these roundabouts with semis. And I drive a semi myself. And I mean, have you really taken into effect a 80-foot truck going around that roundabout?
Yeah, our designer does do turning movement studies, and we are good with this one. And we do evaluate these roundabouts based on the existing traffic. So, and part of our studies that we do is we do look at those at semi trucks being able to get around these, and it will work. The center island is mountable, and we make it that way for trucks to be able to make the turn. But there should not be any issues with trucks moving around this roundabout.
I understand that. And it's just, a truck going around a roundabout it empty versus loaded is two different things because of the pressure and stress it puts on the rear axles. The other thing, you make them so you can go around them. I have been at the roundabout at Willis and Whittaker, Stony Creek, and Textile. And I have seen people just drive right straight through, don't bother slowing down. So it's a happy medium, I think, and how you have to design these to slow people down, but yet make it so the trucks can make it around the corner. And I've almost been hit before on these things, so just my
I can
comments.
kind of handle some of those comments. And yeah, so the Stony Creek and Textile, that's a different style of roundabout. It does have the flat where vehicles could drive across that. This one will be mountable. It'll be a raised center island. We do look at the size of the truck whenever we do turning templates through the roundabout that will accommodate. And then we have an advisory speed of 15 miles an hour. But the truck may have to adjust their speed as they navigate the roundabout, depending on what their load is. Those are professional drivers, so they should be able to navigate. But the turning template will accommodate those larger trucks.
Okay, thank you. So I have another, so CJ Snow wanted to just say or CJ, wanted to follow up and say, their house is on the corner of Whittaker and Trotters Park, and they fully support the sign at the entrance stating no exit. We're going to have people using our driveways to do U-turns. So they're going to look into that, CJ, to that comment. Thank you so much for that. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment or have a question for Becky? All right. I don't see anyone else with a comment or question. I'm going to ask the presenters, do you have anything do you have any comments or questions in your chat?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, wait, Fred is asking another question. 1 second, Fred. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Go ahead, Fred.
This really doesn't have anything to do with the roundabout, but since we're talking with road commission and speed and everything else of the traffic on this area, on Martz Road, as you go southeast and it comes to a curve, and I own the dirt, I own the land there on the southeast corner. We're tired of people driving into the front yard going around that curve just before the creek. Is there anything the road commission can do to slow the traffic down on there, put a guardrail up or something? Because this winter, one almost hit the house, the second house.
I can jump in on that for you, Fred. I do know that we actually have been talking about this particular curve lately because we have seen some strange crashes that have been happening. So it is one of our focuses. There may be some enhanced signage or maybe some, LED lighting on the chevrons, something like that. We're going to take a look and see if there's something. Guardrail would only be if we feel that it's warranted, and we'll have to do a study and look at that because you have to be careful where you put the guardrail to make sure it doesn't become a greater hazard than, not having it there. But rest assured that this is one of the curves that is on our radar, and we'll see if there's anything that we can take care of this year.
Well, and we do have to be able to get farm equipment in and out of that driveway off of Martz Road, so it gets a little tricky with what you can do too. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. 1 second. Let me see if I have another. Oh, no. Okay. So I don't have any more questions. I would like to, let me just double check that. Okay. So if you have any questions that you come up later or your thoughts, please email us, email Becky. Her email address is there, Becky Huell. Her phone number is there on the screen. This presentation and the project slides will be on the project page. I showed you where you can find that on our website, wcroads.org. And we want to say thank you for joining us and have a wonderful day.